Hello, it's day 137 of the Liberator project, and it's been another day when I haven't done very much on the project. In fact, probably nothing on the project, but I do a video every day, so I'll find something to talk about. Now, I haven't done a great deal, but in the afternoon I talked to two different friends, both of which are in a lot worse position than I'm in. I mean, things are not good for me, but one of the guys, his company's actually gone under, and the other one is effectively bankrupt. So I was, we're all going through a lot of hardship at the moment, and it's certainly not been easy for quite a few people. But I felt very down after that, after talking to them about the things that were going on with their life. And what I did was I went to see Sylvia, my neighbour, and in the evening, and it was very nice. Talked about to us on Gary in America, and he's part of a ham radio network, which is really useful in case the internet or the mobile phone system goes down. They have a sort of a network already set up. So that didn't help, did it? Sorry. Yes, obviously, we're very professional at the Liberator Project here. I don't think my hair matters. What am I saying? Of course it does. Give me a hair break. Hang on. I could start from scratch, actually, couldn't I? I've only done a minute. Not going to. Right. I think you like it in one take, don't you? Well, one take unless something seriously goes wrong. But bad hair, not good enough excuse. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, yeah, so there's this ham radio network that's sort of set up, very useful, and it's something that when I get the Liberator, that's definitely something I will get installed, and I want his advice about that so I can connect up to the ham radio network as well. I mean, I still have my mobile and I'm still on the internet, so I can do videos, but it doesn't hurt to have a ham radio set up. It's something that I would find very interesting to get into anyway, and and also you do get the marine bands when you're on a boat, so I'm sure I can sort something out, but that might be fun. But I'll get his advice about that when nearer the time. But anyway, it was very nice talking to him. That's the end of the Liberator project for today. So if you don't want to hear me talk about my relationships, please leave and upvote me. And if you want to stay, I'm going to talk more about my ex. So you're warned. Don't downvote me. It's a bad button. Okay. Right. So where were we? Well, basically, this was after the I'd managed to clear out her house in Staffordshire, and I'd changed all my bank details and account details, and I'd actually changed all my passwords. Now, before then, all my passwords were Gary Newman 79, but I've changed it. I haven't changed it to Gary Newman 80 before you try it, but I've changed all my passwords to something more random, and that sort of stopped. That stopped any possible hacking of my accounts or any other bad things happen. But before I did that, I had a PC at the house before I collected it, and it was unlocked. I mean, why would it be locked? And she had access to that. She turned it on, and my emails were open. There was nothing hidden. I didn't have anything to hide. So she basically had logged onto my PC in her house and sent any women on my, or quite a few women on my email account, bad emails threatening them and doing all sorts of things. And bear in mind, a lot of them were actually work colleagues. They weren't personal, they weren't girlfriends or ex-girlfriends or even female friends. They were just work colleagues, some of them. But obviously, if you saw a female name on the list, they got cut and paste abuse. So that was a bit awkward for me. I had to apologise to quite a few people. And then to my ex that she actually thought I'd been having this affair with, she sent her absolute hell. I mean, it was terrible, some emails. And of course, then she was absolutely, furious with me, even though I don't know what I'd really done at that point. So it certainly had nothing to deserve that. So anyway, she was really angry with me. And you can imagine, if you hadn't heard someone for years, and suddenly you get this sort of insane woman threatening your life and threatening to cut your tits off and stuff. It's yeah. So fair enough. I mean, I can't blame her for that. I think her reaction was perfectly normal, and yeah, I could empathise with her, but I don't know what I could do about it. So anyway, I found out that she'd actually told some of my friends that she'd walked into the lounge and she'd caught me with my ex-girlfriend having sex in the lounge. Now, even the most basic prodding of that story all falls to bits and makes no sense at all. But she told people this, and if someone didn't like you anyway, and quite a few people don't like me. Some people really like me, but I can understand why. I mean, I have mood swings and I'm quite outgoing, and I think sometimes I'm a bit too pushy for some people, I think. But anyway, people like you or dislike you. You can't help that. You just got to be yourself, and hopefully you surround yourself with people that like you, and the other people you haven't got to interact with them. So, but anyway, her story made absolutely no sense. But some people, had that excuse not to like you. But worse than that, I mean, I don't mind. Some people, don't like me. Okay, well, better I find out sooner than later and stay out of my life. But I had some mutual friends that I was quite friendly with, and I'd known one of the guys for a long time, and he played bass when I played keyboards in a jam once, and I liked the guy, but I bumped into them at one of the last goth fest in London, and they were there, and he was very abrupt to me, and his wife just stared daggers at me the whole time. She wouldn't even talk to me. It was like, look, don't know what you think I've done, but so that was a bit of a shame, because I did actually like this couple. But anyway, they'd obviously been told some sort of fabrication. Anyway, she'd also turned up, because I was going to go to the university to do my doctorate, even though those plans all sort of fell apart. But she'd actually turned up at the Kiel Drama Society when she knew I wasn't going to be there. I was in London, and she'd actually was wearing a black eye. Now, she blamed me for this, but it was like, one of my friends, my true friends, said, well, it obviously was fake, because for one, it didn't look. You've just got one black eye, and also she was very good at makeup, and she loved doing her makeup. So even if she had a black eye, she would have made the other one match, and she wouldn't have been able to see it. So it was so obviously a fake thing she did to try and get people angry with me. But I think a few people saw through this straight away. But the next time I was in campus, two women came up to me that I didn't know. I didn't even recognise their face, and they got right into my face, and they were screaming abuse at me. And it was like, you're going, I didn't do anything. And they only hurt. It was like, oh. What can you do at that point? Because they're not listening. They're just venting their anger about something that's happened in their own lives at you. But they were right in the face, being incredibly aggressive and abusive. And it's a case of, well, if you believe all women and you have someone that's making up stories, then, as far as they're concerned, I had beaten her up or raped her or whatever. It was terrible things. So that was a bit of a, that was a bit of hell. But she also was telling people that I couldn't accept it was over and I was stalking her, and she got the police involved. And she wanted me to lose my SC clearance. Now, at the time, working on a military base, you had to have a security clearance. And in the company I was working for, I had a white level security, which was the highest they did. And that was, I could work on the top secret military projects. Now, if you've got anything dodgy in your background, if you've got big gambling debts or, you've got a criminal record, they won't give you that rating, because it means you're not morally dependable, or you could be blackmailed. There's reasons why they wouldn't do that. So she got the police involved with this, and she kept phoning up my work HR department, and of course I got called into the office and was told, she had to stop calling, And I'm going, well, yes, but there's nothing to do with me. You know, I don't want her to call. And, you know, they told me, well, she had to stop. And I'm like, well, yes, I'm not doing, I'd do anything I could to sort of stop her calling. But obviously, if I'd have gone, phoned her up and said, you know, that I was in trouble, she would have loved that and called even more. So I thought the best thing to do was just ignore it, and eventually she ran out of, you know, she's a lazy person, she just ran out of energy, she wouldn't bother. But she, with the police, I mean, she said that she was scared of me. I was hiding in her garden. Now, this was absolutely nuts because I didn't even know her new address. She'd deliberately not done that, you know, given it to me. And she'd done a runner. She'd moved up to, I believe Chesterfield. A mutual friend told me that. And I don't know if it's true. And if I wasn't going to take legal action, I wasn't going to bother with her address. In fact, it's better I don't know her address, then I can't have done any of these things. And anyway, one night, apparently, she was screaming sort of blue murder. The neighbours got involved and they thought I was killing her. You know, I wasn't there, I was in Essex, but she did this whole sort of theatrical thing, and the neighbours were called, and obviously the police, the Staffordshire police, were called, and they called me while I was at work, you know, like the next day apparently, and you know, that as far as they're concerned, I'd gone round there and I'd attempted all sorts of things, even though I didn't know the address and I was in Essex at the time. Now, I got the. She said I was in a garden at the time, and of course, so what I did was he phoned me on my mobile. I said, "Look, I'm in a secure military development base. Here's the number. Phone me at work, and that proves that I'm in Essex and I'm not in a garden." And he was happy to do that. And I said, "And you're quite happy to check with my line manager or people I work with, my team, that I've been here all week, and I've got timesheets to prove that. You know, there's video camera footage. You know, I haven't been in Staffordshire for, you know, a few weeks at that point, and I didn't know her address. So obviously it was, you know, this could not possibly be true." And the old guy that phoned me up actually seemed to be quite reasonable. Once he was quite angry at me at first, but once he realised that this wasn't true, he was actually really nice and very reasonable. And you know, he said that she was wasting police time, and he'd look into it and not to worry about anything else. And that was absolutely fine. I didn't hear any more from them, and I don't know what happened to her, if she was actually done for wasting police time, or if you know, they just dropped it and she gave up. But she didn't do that, and after a while she stopped phoning HR, and that sort of bit calmed down. But anyway, this is at last, you know, while there's still ramifications, it was like at last she'd gone completely from my life, and now I had to sort of repair the damage, which you know, was considerable, and I wasn't really in a fit state of health to deal with that. But I'll talk about that more next time. So if you enjoyed that, fantastic. Like, share, subscribe, click the good button. And if you didn't, well, I did warn you. I said I'm going to talk about relationships. So if you watch this for, really, I don't deserve that down mark. In fact, for my honesty that I was going to talk about this, you should give me an upvote anyway, just for the hell of it. Okay, thanks a lot. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.